Welcome to The Lounge. Every month on The Lounge, we'll connect you with opportunities to get involved at UW-Madison. We'll also introduce you to the people working with students here on campus so you can get to know them a little bit more behind the scenes. I'm your host, Payton Wade. On today's episode, in recognition of Veterans Day on November 11th, I want to highlight veteran services here on campus and also give you a lens into what it's like balancing military and student life here at UW-Madison. Our guests are Director of University Veteran Services, Joe Rasmussen, and Abbey Beem, a senior who is also in the National Guard. I want to welcome you both to the show today.
Thanks for having us.
No
Thanks for
problem.
having me.
So I want to start by giving our viewers a little bit of context. Joe, about how many students do we have on campus who are in military services?
Thanks. So we have over 700 students who have either served in the military or are currently serving in the military. In addition, we have over 2,000 students whose parents had military experience, either current or former. But for more context, veteran is a term that people are probably familiar with, but maybe not with how we use it on campus. So next week on Thursday is Veterans Day. My office is University Veteran Services. And there tends to be a lot of advertisement around Veterans Day for things like mattresses or cars. But to put it in context here at UW, when we use the term veteran, what we really mean is somebody who has or is currently serving in the military. And those experiences range from a person who might have spent decades in the military and now are starting as freshmen in their 40s or 50s, to somebody who joined last summer after graduating high school and has just returned from boot camp. Most of our students, however, fall into the currently serving category or have just completed 4 to 6 years of military service, and those folks tend to start school here in their mid-20s. Student veterans are in every school or college on campus. Most students probably have taken a course with a veteran, but they may not know unless the student disclosed either their military service or perhaps worn a uniform to class.
Thanks, Joe. Abby, can you talk a little bit about how it's like balancing both military service and being a student? What makes it difficult and what things you enjoy?
Yeah, definitely. I think that question's kind of ironic right now because I do have drill this weekend. So I had to leave last night to come to my unit because it is kind of a drive for me. So kind of good timing for that question. But I've been in the Guard for about 5 years now, and I love my service. I love the time I've spent in the Army National Guard, as well as doing ROTC on our campus, and then the connections that I've made within SVA as well. It's been extremely fulfilling. I think it's definitely changed my life for the better. And I love the person that it's helped me become and is still helping me become. There's been lots of really great training opportunities, get to do all of the cool Army commercial things like rappelling, flying in UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters, different field trainings. And I've met just some amazing friends and created like long-lasting connections. Another thing is it does help me financially with school, especially, and is setting me up for my career post-graduation, which takes away a lot of anxiety that my fellow seniors have, like looking for jobs and everything right now. I know I have that job stability after graduation, which is really great to know. But even with all that, it has been difficult. It is a time commitment and takes me away from being a normal student all of the time and having that regular young adult college experience. I've missed plenty of games, times with friends, and even like that extra time to catch up on homework or something because I have to be gone for drill or out in the field where we don't have internet. And I think especially with COVID and the election of 2020 and the tension around that really highlighted how difficult it can be to be actively serving and a full-time student. A lot of UW students who are in the Guard or airmen got taken away on state active duty SAD orders because they had to help with riots or COVID testing across the state, which causes a lot of stress because there's not a whole lot of education, I don't think, with the faculty and what that means for us as students when we have to go away for training, because it's not really a choice. We chose to join, but it's not our choice when we get put on these orders. So it's difficult to communicate that with professors and then also balance getting our work done. And then on top of all of that, you know, you don't have as much time to take to yourself all of the time, whether it's finding that balance between school, military, and like training for your fitness tests that you have if you're a current guardsman or airman, or if you are a student veteran, finding that balance of school, personal time, and like dealing with the adjustments of being an atypical student, starting later, being older than most of your peers, and any traumas that you're bringing with you from your prior service. There's a lot of different stressors within this demographic on campus that UW doesn't necessarily do the best job highlighting. So I personally require a lot of internal support from my own peers that I have and know within my group, but not everybody within this group is as lucky as I am to have the social circle that I have. So you try to reach out to them, but it's hard to reach everybody. There's a lot.
Thanks. My best friend and old roommate was actually part of the Guard. And you talked a lot about support. And I tried to find out ways to support her and figure out how I can best support her. But Joe, a lot of people don't have those friendships or relationships with people who are currently serving. So how would you say they can support our students who are in military service?
Yeah, this part's really important. In fact, we're doing research right now, and some of that suggests that people with military service don't have a lot of support. In the research that we have with a certain group of veteran students, in their personal network, they say on average they have less than one person who is close to them that's also in school. So that network's quite small, but this campus isn't. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for people to connect with the veteran and military population and provide support. Not everybody has military experience, but Payton, like yourself, it's likely that you know somebody who has served in the military. And I would say from personal experiences, it's difficult to start college. It's difficult to start as a veteran as well. But they come with very similar anxieties and excitements when they're looking to start school. I'm glad Abby touched on the National Guard. They did really do a huge and extraordinary job last year. And I can say as a staff member supporting this population, many chose to either leave school for entire semesters, drop classes, or suffered academically as they tried to juggle their 80 plus hours of responsibilities between Guard service and school. So I think, finding the similarities and celebrating the unique strengths that our student veterans and military students bring to campus, and just connecting. And so I'd like to bring up an opportunity for students to connect, and staff and faculty, which is next Thursday on Veterans Day, the 11th. So the Student Veteran Organization is hosting an event on Bascom Hill where they'll have flags which can be dedicated by anybody in the EW community and placed along with other flags in dedication to a veteran in their life. And I would encourage folks who are able to stop by Bascom Hill at any time throughout the day and dedicate a flag. If you have specific time around 1 p.m. To stop by the Memorial Union, where we'll have a formal Veterans Day event. It's just 25 minutes, and folks who are there will be proceeding together with their flags to place them on Bascom Hill.
Thanks, Joe. So next Thursday, you all make sure you're at Memorial Union. And if you're on Bascom Hill, be sure to place a flag. A lot of us haven't personally served in the military, but I know a lot of people do have those ties from family or friends who have. So lastly, Abby, I want to ask you as well. You talked about how you have a great support circle, but for some students who may not have that support, or like how are ways that your friends do support you? Like kind of just how can other students support students coming from someone who's personally has that support?
Most of my support comes from, like, when I say internal support, I mean like within my Guard unit and within my ROTC programs and SVA, which are military specific. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot of like knowledge by the broader student population for like what it means to be a military affiliated student on campus. So it's really hard for me to answer that question because I rely on those internal supports who understand and are similar to myself. I think to start with would be educating and informing faculty more, because there's been a lot of tensions that I and my peers who are military affiliated have experienced in the past with getting them to understand what it means when we have to leave for a 3 or 4 day drill weekend, and hey, I'm not going to be here for this exam. But unlike it is sometimes like with athletics where it's, oh, we have a game, we're going to be gone this weekend, I can't be there for that exam. For us, they're like, well, we need you for this exam otherwise. And it's just, they're not as like lenient with us because I don't think the knowledge is there, which is understandable, but that's one place to start. And additionally, on the academic side, like specific academic advising and tutoring services would be huge for military affiliated students, because I know myself, I started school late, not as late as people were starting as like 24, 26, but I was still like a semester behind my peers starting late as a freshman. And that's still a learning curve you need to get behind. And there's tons of other military students just like me who are on that same learning curve and behind our peers. And there's not really a good like internal structure at UW to help us get at the same level that a typical like 19-year-old freshman starting at UW in the fall has. And I think it's important, if you are a regular student and you recognize you see a military affiliate student in your class, veteran, ROTC student wearing their uniform, or current guardsmen, understanding that they are and we are an asset to campus. Everyone I have met in the military are global thinkers, self-sufficient, but we still, even with all of that and all of the things that we've been taught and have internalized through our service, we still struggle and need accessible support from professionals and from our peers, because even though we do have our own like population on campus and can feel connected to them, sometimes you can feel very alone because there's most of our campus is not similar to us. So having like a space for all of us to gather and creating an area for us to connect, I think would be really important, because it is hard to reach everyone on campus who is military affiliated.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I know what it's like to feel like, you know, you're a small person on such a large campus. So hopefully the this show will get the word out and allow people to see the needs that we need to work towards here for our students who are in military services. I want to remind everyone again that Thursday is Veterans Day, and if you're free, you should make sure that you're at Memorial Union at 1 for that ceremony, and also if you're on Bascom Hill to place a flag in remembrance of anyone special in your life. I want to thank you both for joining me today. Abby, I want to thank you for sharing your story and wish you luck for the rest of the semester. I'm Payton Wade, and it's time to close the lounge.